Day 20. At this point, I'm not just working out anymore. I'm actively studying how I move. And today was one of those days where watching someone better than you makes you realize how much room there is to improve. This is day 20. Let's get it. So starting off, as always, with some sun salutations. This has become my go-to warm-up. Wakes everything up without draining energy. And it's a nice way to slow things down before getting into the harder stuff. And then from there on, it'll be moving on to pull-ups. So before this workout, actually, I watched a video from kboges, the GOAT. You can see here on keeping in mind for the pull-up form, talking about proper pull-up form for muscle growth. So I actually included a snippet of his video here to compare my form with his. Yeah, it was humbling. I think I'm doing well, except when I'm looking at the footage, I notice at the top of my reps, my shoulders don't depress as much as his. I'm getting up there, but maybe not quite finishing the same way. So I'm going to think more chest up, arms back, and try to focus on that using his video for reference. And that I will keep looking at his form because his form is undefeated, and then take it from there and not worry about the number of reps I get. And then just stretching it out a bit, doing some active stretching, active rest they call it, before we get into the second set of pull-ups. And this time I'm trying to apply that cue from earlier, which is the chest up, shoulders down, arms driving back. It was fewer reps, more focus, and I'd rather do the clean reps with that form than 7 that don't really count. I think even here the form is not as good as what he has in his video, so I'm going to keep working towards that until my form looks just like that. And yeah, here just trying to get some active hangs in after I couldn't pull myself up anymore. And then that's the pull exercise done. And then again, a little bit more just active rest. And moving on to side-staggered squats. And these are straight from Hybrid Calisthenics squat progression. And they're basically the squat version of archer push-ups. Wide stance, shifting most of the load to one leg and descending at an angle. They don't look dramatic, but they really load the single leg quite fast. So it's good. And in the hybrid calisthenics squat progression protocol, to move on to the next round, you should need to be able to do 2 sets of 20. I'm there for reps, but my form definitely could be cleaned up a bit. Trying to focus on going slow and not arching the back or curving the back. So I think I'm going to do these for a few more days before I move on to the next progression. And so here, now that I did the one leg, the left leg, so here's doing the right leg, and then some 90-90 hip mobility work here after a long day of sitting. And this little bit of mobility is nothing intense. It's just enough to reset. And I realized that doing something intentional here helps me stay engaged instead of zoning out. And then we move on to the second set. Balance is harder this time around. And I'm definitely moving slower. Ignore this is sped up footage. But progress isn't about symmetry day to day. It's about consistency over time. And that's what we're going for, with some targeted goals like getting to a single leg squat, potentially getting to a muscle up by the end of the year, like a clean form muscle up, no kipping. We'll see how it goes. And here just trying to crank out the other side. Slow and steady. Trying to get to that 20. And my heart rate was really increasing here. Now here, I'm just trying to do some heavy breathing and get the heart rate under control before I move on to the last exercise, which is dips. I'm just getting ready for that, finishing with dips. These always hit when fatigue has already set in, so staying controlled here matters. And you can see I'm shaking a little bit once I get to the top. Trying to focus on staying tight and not rushing the reps just to be done. But it is a bit of a struggle because my heart rate is quite elevated. So then just last rest of the day, trying to do some face pulls and stretch out the shoulders. And then some more leg work in between on my tiny calves, you can see there. And then the final bit of rest, I'm breathing heavy. And on to the final set. This is where everything wants to fall apart, so I'm slowing it down and finishing it strong. And one more rep, and then that's day 20. If you've been following along, or if you're also experimenting with form and small improvements, I'd love to hear what cues or adjustments have helped you. Feel free to like the video, subscribe, or drop a comment. It genuinely helps keep me accountable. 20 days in, still learning, still showing up. See you tomorrow for day 21. That'll be 3 weeks done.